Well, hello everybody. Oh, I see we have a message. Lee. Oh, you're going to be out. That's fine. This video will be uploaded. And you can check back in, and if you want to engage in any way, you can engage in the comments. So, hope everything is okay with everything. So today I want to return to talking about the Three Musketeers. There has been a lot more revealed since we last spoke, particularly about the romantic lives of the Musketeers, as well as D'Artagnan. And we're also finally introduced to Milady de Winter, who is the English, one of the many spies of Cardinal de Richelieu, but in this story, she's like the primary spy. She's this English woman who gets involved in essentially trying to expose Queen Anne's affair with the Duke of Birmingham. So I'm going to wait a little bit and see if other people arrive. Or rather, the Duke of Buckingham. I keep mixing him up, this Duke of Buckingham. Okay, so where did we leave off? We left off with a lot of questions about the characters that D'Artagnan has met. So let's talk about what has happened. So D'Artagnan is not an actual musketeer. He has joined Monsieur des Essarts, who is related to the head of the musketeers, Monsieur de Tréville, but he's technically not a musketeer. However, as we come to see, he becomes one of the most prominent musketeers because it becomes D'Artagnan who tries to give the letter that Queen Anne had once sent to the Duke of Buckingham. Let's see. I always forget her name. Okay, yeah. So there's Monsieur Bonacieux, and then there's Constance Bonacieux or Madame Bonacieux. Madame Bonacieux is a lady in waiting for Queen Anne, and so she is acting on behalf of the Queen, trying to avoid the affair from being revealed. And that, of course, would be to the benefit of the king. Whereas her husband, Monsieur de Bonacieux, is basically a traitor in a way. He is acting on behalf of the cardinal because he has basically been recruited by the cardinal as his spy. And because he is so money hungry, he accepts and he'll do anything for the cardinal, including betraying his own wife, which, presents him as a very murky character. But he is also not the only morally ambiguous character in the story. We also have Athos, whom we learn was once married to Milady de Winter. And she's we come to learn that she is the one with the fleur de lis tattoo. She was basically branded as a criminal, and Athos had her executed. So somehow she has escaped from execution. So we have these morally gray characters, and we have D'Artagnan, who is trying to navigate several different people, different people's interests. but primarily his own. Like, he definitely wants to be, he cares a lot about his own image. He cares about becoming a musketeer, about avenging his own honor, and also because he is in love with Madame de Bonacieux. He's also in love with Milady de Winter. He's definitely he's a very passionate person, and his passions both help him and also hurt him. And his, Monsieur de Tréville tries to warn him about how dangerous it is for D'Artagnan to work for the Queen, because, of course, now he's involved in what is potentially, a huge scandal. Okay, and what happens is, when Buckingham realizes that that some of the diamonds had been stolen, he basically causes this war. So now there's a war between England and France. So there's just a lot going on here. It's interesting how I think that Dumas is making a commentary here about how the reasons for war can be so petty. That this can all revolve around this affair that the Queen is having with this Englishman. Now, this Englishman is actually very prominent. He is essentially the equivalent of Cardinal de Richelieu, but in England. But still, I mean, in some ways it becomes this sort of comedy of manners, because we get to see how the petty interests of the very powerful can lead to so much destruction. Now, Richelieu has his own political reasons for hating Queen Anne, because, Richelieu is constantly, he opposes the Spanish and he opposes the Huguenots, the Protestants in France. And so he wishes for the ruin of Queen Anne, whom he sees as a sort of spy for the Spanish. And the way he goes about doing that is by befriending the king and manipulating the king, pretending to be his friend, and then somehow finding a way to ruin or attempt to ruin the Queen. Richelieu is presented as an incredibly Machiavellian figure, someone who will go to great lengths to remain in power. And I think that he is one of the most compelling figures, maybe even more so than D'Artagnan, actually. Let's see. I don't know if any of you have anything to share. I don't know if anybody is watching, actually. Dumas definitely writes very, very compelling characters. So let's go through the different musketeers. So Porthos is Porthos constantly pretends that he's in love with a woman of great influence, when in fact his mistress is not a countess like he claims. Athos, we come to discover, was married to Milady de Winter and thought he had executed her, which really presents him as a very morally complicated character, a man who's willing to execute his wife, however horrible she might be. I think it presents him as a very complicated. And then there's Aramis, who is, he's a musketeer for the moment, but he wants to be a priest. We come to learn, though, that Aramis is in love with a woman who has been exiled from Paris. I forget, her name is Chevreuse, Madame de Chevreuse. And D'Artagnan learns this slowly over time. He kind of suspected it initially, but then it becomes clear that Aramis is with Madame de Chevreuse. The most upright character seems to be Madame de Bonacieux, because she is doing what she's supposed to do as the handmaid of the queen. She is, very loyal to her, and wants to prevent the scandal of the affair from being revealed. Her husband is just really sleazy and wants money and wants honor above anything, and so he's willing to betray his wife. And then, of course, there's Lady de Winter and her brother, whom I think D'Artagnan duels, if I remember. And D'Artagnan really leverages his sexuality so that, to reveal, to manipulate affairs. And then that's when he discovers that actually she is the woman who had been branded with the fleur de lis. And then there's finally the man from Mans, who is the Comte de Rochefort, and he is also a spy, and he is the one who offended D'Artagnan in the beginning of the story, and so that's like a huge motivator. One of the many motivations behind D'Artagnan's quest is that he wants to take back his honor that had been stolen from him by this mysterious man, whom we learn is the Comte de Rochefort. Hi everyone, having problems with my Wi-Fi connection. Oh, that's fine. Sometimes that happens. Kind of just going over like the major events that have occurred so far in the book, and kind of thinking about, how we would categorize the different characters. So, who is your favorite character so far? I'm really interested in knowing. Definitely, okay, so my favorite character has definitely got to be Arnaud Duplessis, Cardinal de Richelieu. Definitely Richelieu is my, favorite character. Just the way that he's able to manipulate people to get them to become his spies, the way that he can pretend to be someone's friend or to show mercy to someone, all the while like undermining them, how he finds ways to discredit the queen and reveal the affair, but like by going through the king and like trying, pretending that he's trying to bring the king and the queen back together again. I just think that Dumas created such a conniving character. Just really interesting, the strategies he employs to get what he wants. And so what has happened is, so as we know, the Queen Anne is in love with the Count of Buckingham, and she had given him the diamonds that she had received from her husband, the king, and Richelieu, through his spy network, knows this. And so he basically the king suspects that his wife is actually cheating on him, and Richelieu's like, no, it's all just political. And then then the queen is forced to give up a letter that she has that shows that she's trying to undermine Richelieu. Richelieu learns that she wants to destroy him, and so he wants revenge, and he knows that the way to get this revenge is by exposing the queen. And so the way he goes about it is by telling the king, okay, well, you need to make up with your wife, and so let's put on this ball and have the queen attend the ball and wear her diamonds. And Richelieu, at the same time, has already sent out his favorite spy, Lady de Winter, to cut off some of the diamonds. And Buckingham finds out, and there's this whole war that suddenly is sparked by all of this. And I just think it's super clever. That's really all I have. I don't really have anything else. This is a very long book. I think this was the first time that I really did start thinking about this book as a comedy of manners, especially ridiculing the wealthy and their petty conflicts that can lead to so much death. There are all these wars that are in the background. And also how morally ambiguous the Three Musketeers are, along with D'Artagnan. I guess that's it. I don't really have anything else. How are you all doing? I mean, other than reading the Three Musketeers, what else have you been reading? I've been reading some other things for my PhD program, but I haven't really been reading anything else. I have a few historical mysteries that I really want to read in the next month. Some of them are medieval, some of them like the brother Cadfael mysteries. Hello, Isaac. Oh wow, Isaac. Hello. I was like, oh, I think I know who you are. Okay. I think we're done with the Three Musketeers stuff. I really have nothing else to say about it, except I find the characters very compelling. But yeah, like I was saying, I've been reading a lot of historical mysteries, particularly medieval, like set in the Middle Ages. But I have one that's set in the 16th century, and the investigator is a lawyer. And this one looks exciting. I was looking at the biography of the author, and the author did some graduate work in I think it was like English, I think. And I don't think she finished her PhD program, but I was like thinking, I think this is what people do when they don't finish PhD programs, is take all this information and write novels, historical novels, which I've been sincerely considering. I'm thinking if I were to write fiction, which I don't have a lot of experience in, to be honest, I would write a historical mystery set in the 16th century. I even have an investigator in mind. So that is something that I want to be reading more of to get an idea about how the genre works. So that's what I've been reading. I've also been, I must admit, on a very serious note, sort of in passing, since, we're talking about France here, I think it was 2 days ago, I think it was 2 days ago, there was a teacher at a middle school in France who was decapitated by some terrorist for showing in class some cartoons from the Charlie Hebdo magazine, which is this satirical magazine that essentially ridicules religion in general. I mean, it ridicules all religions. And this is the second time that there has been an attack. I don't want to say inspired by, but I guess the terrorists. There has been a terrorist response to discussions or any kind of mention of Charlie Hebdo. And it's really hard. It's hard to think about what it means to be an educator today and how dangerous it can be to be an educator today. Think about like Malala and female education, education of girls. It can be very dangerous. And teachers are constantly having to worry that they could get killed, and it's really, really terrifying. It's just learning about this in the last couple of days has just been really harrowing about just how education is seen as a threat by so many people. But that is really what's been going on for me. I don't know. Does anybody have anything else? Well, today I think it's going to be, a very short video. There was a lot. I mean, there was a lot to talk about, but I think maybe I will do one more video on November 1st. And if anybody has been reading along, we can talk about the book at the very end of the month. Well, actually, the beginning of the following month, and we can talk about, what we think about the ending, what we think about the characters. And yeah, I mean, that's really all I have today. Thank you, everybody, for watching, I guess. Bye now.